on Monday we have Beyond the Blue releasing
Mhm.
on National Geographic, and we want to put the word out there. Perhaps we'll start with the basics. Why should we watch this documentary?
The core essence of the film are all big environmental messages. It's quite clever in that the topics, which are sometimes quite depressing, are actually made entertaining through the fact that we're doing these rescues and there's all this exciting drama going on and there's emotion and all of this, which kind of is a very nice way for us to tackle the subject. Because there's plenty of films out there that just show factories blowing smoke. But we certainly want to kind of put some heart to the conservation topics, and I think the film achieved that.
What kind of conservation projects did you? Because there's so many, right? You have done extensive work from turtles, rehabilitating marine species. But you need to tell me, like, did you guys have trouble, like, filtering out what would make a great story? Like, did you decide on what chapters should be touched upon?
The interesting part about the story, and which is not really overly mentioned in the film, but is something that you can certainly dive into, is when we started collecting the footage. This goes all the way back to COVID. So
Hmm.
you imagine in the film during the whale shark rescues, I was living in Dubai. We had emergencies in Abu Dhabi, and I was doing these urgent PCR tests, and I was at the border trying to rush security to get me through the border so that I could get into Abu Dhabi and execute the rescues. So it was a very strange time in the world. Our most common activity is to rescue, rehabilitate, and release sea turtles. In the film, it's not really mentioned, but we're actually up at 1,200 sea turtles now. These are all endangered species. When you have a critically endangered species, every single individual that makes it back into the wild is kind of like securing the future of the species because that's a breeding individual back in the game. Really trying to work on the sea turtle issue, and we have a very natural issue for turtles in this area, and that is it's extremely hot and then relatively cold. And what happens is a lot of the turtles are tourists, so they're not actually born in the Arabian Gulf. They come in here. There's a huge amount of food in the Arabian Gulf. Like the Gulf is actually kind of thriving with nutrients, and the turtles love it in here. And then what happens is winter comes along, and both the turtles and the people every year we somehow forget how cold it actually gets, and they get cold stunned. A storm comes through, washes them up on the beach. I would say I'd say 50% of our turtles are found by general public.
Oh, that's
The
interesting.
other half are found by companies, right? Companies that work on different parts of the
Okay,
UAE coast.
that's
Now,
amazing.
what we were not anticipating is some of the other stuff we kind of got involved with. And there are whale shark rescues in there. We're talking huge sharks,
Wow. Yeah.
like 6 meter plus animals. These situations we never saw coming. Like it was the film makes it seem dramatized. I think in reality the drama was even higher.
Really?
Like it was quite an intense time. I don't know how much money I invested in trying to find a whale shark to observe in the ocean. I reached out to people who have experience with whale sharks, and they were like, wow, okay, can't say anything about that situation because it's nothing like anything we've ever touched. So
Wow.
it kind of left us in a place where we had to invent, and that's what we did. We started inventing ways in which to move these animals without harming them.
Oh, but this is
Yeah.
amazing what you just told me. I mean, like you said, in your career, you have worked in New Zealand and every other part of the world you can think of. But finally, it came to
Mhm.
the UAE and perhaps Abu Dhabi for you to have this career. It's a career defining moment for you and a project for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm wearing scars. This is a big scar on my arm. This is from the whale shark,
No.
like so. This is a huge part of my life's memories now. Is that whole saga, So it's pretty awesome that that was all captured by drones and by cameras and by like all of this stuff was filmed. And then it's even more incredible to see it arrive in a Nat Geo production. As far as animals and wildlife go, the Disney Nat Geo productions are the absolute peak of it, you know, so they do the best stuff in the world. So, you know, on the one hand, you kind of crippled and pressured by this task, but on the other hand, we were very privileged to have the technology around us to capture the whole thing and for this to eventually arrive in a film.
Education is also a part of this documentary, right? So how do
Hmm.
you think it's going to inspire people towards like perhaps protecting the environment more, being more responsible towards marine life? Not how do you think this
Yeah.
documentary will help?
The film kind of follows various situations for the animals. Watching, let's say, a particular turtle who has a particular issue, and then it's discovered that there's plastic in its stomach and the plastic's extracted. The turtle does well. He ends up in the Louvre Sanctuary and he's eventually released with a satellite tag. That the journey of this character animal, it educates inadvertently by people understanding the crisis that got it there was actually man-made. EAD are essentially the authority. So whether we respond or not is a decision made by them.
Ah,
They say, so they say to us, hey, there's a turtle needing rescue. Can you guys respond? We go.
okay.
There's a dugong, there's a whale shark, there's a sea snake. They manage the hotline. So when things are seen on the coast or happen on the coast, the first call kind of goes through them, and then we are the team that responds. And then on the bigger, higher profile rescues, they join us on the
Nice.
rescue.
I like it. You're like the Baywatch with
Yeah.
clothes,
Yeah.
with more
Yeah, with
clothes
our
on.
shirt, Baywatch with our shirts on. Yeah, yeah.
Baywatch, that's one way to. What is the most surprising and unique rescue that you carried out and that has found its way into the movie?
There's a particular rescue in the movie which is quite heart-wrenching, and that's the dugong. There's a baby dugong, and again, this was at a very strange period of time for us. We were still not open as a national aquarium, but we were actively executing these rescues. So you're going to see the dugong story in the film, and it's pretty heartbreaking because we don't succeed.
Thank you so much for speaking to us and letting us into your world. Thank you
For
so
sure.
much. And thank you for doing this for us.
No problem. Thank
Take
you.
care.